this is how you Ollie Impossible. I'll teach you how to do it. I've been doing Impossibles for 4 years now. They are my favorite trick in skateboarding. So the first few things to notice, everyone always starts by looking at feet positions. The Impossible, the only thing that really matters is your back foot. Try to keep your back foot right there at the concave of the board. That'll help you pinch the board into the ground, and that's very much what it is. You point your toes and it pinches the tail into the ground, so it lifts the wheels up. Your front foot isn't going to do much besides go straight up in the air. Mine is below the truck, but it could also be all the way up on the nose. It could be on your bolts. It doesn't really matter. Essentially what you do with your feet is you start pointing your toes. See my heel? It's kind of hard to tell. My heel isn't on the board because I'm pointing my toes already. And my front foot is just counteracting that, so that way my board doesn't turn all sideways. So because the two are applying forces in different directions, it's building up pressure, which will make the Impossible just fly. It will shoot, it will go so quick. And that's what you need because it is a rotation that takes a while longer to do. So you need to build up pressure in order for it to move quickly. So that's what you do with your feet. Now, you should also take note of my body weight. My head right here is exactly over my back truck. Take a look at that. Exactly over my back truck. And this is just where you need to keep your body weight, or else it will not wrap. If we go frame by frame, I'll show you what happens. Let me zoom in on my feet, because that's the important part. So my back foot, you can kind of see how my heel isn't touching at the moment. I start pointing my toes, and my board right here is pinched right up against the ground. If you see that, I have only one wheel touching the ground, and that's the spot that you need to find on your skateboard in order to do it Impossible. You should just play around with your foot and point it until it starts picking up like this. It will suck up to the underside of your foot where your heel is, but you have to find where this point is, or else an Impossible is not going to work. And the reason being is once you find that spot and you point your toes, this is what guides the board to move up and around your foot instead of going straight into your shin. If your foot was flat and you tried to scoop it, the board would come right up and hit your knee. And that happened to me 800,000 times while trying to learn this trick. And it still happens to me occasionally. But what you do is you point your toe, and now if you're looking at that back toe, it's pointed, the board is still being pinched into the ground. And so essentially what I think of is I pinch the board into the ground, and then I pull my foot up. And because I do that pull, that's what causes it to rotate around my feet. So it's not a circular shape. I see everyone try to do Impossibles and they move their whole leg in an entire circle trying to mimic this motion. It's not like that at all. You pinch your back toes, and then when the board is right here, just lift your leg up. And that's what I do. My foot, you can see it kind of moves to the side a bit, and that's natural, that's all right. But you want to do as little of that as possible, because what happens when you do that is now you land in the middle of your board, just like this. I'm no longer on my truck. It's pretty hard to land back on your tail with an Impossible, but if you just move it a little bit to like here, this is the point where you start lifting your foot. But yeah, my toes pointed, and then here it is no longer pointed, and I just lift the leg straight up, and that causes the board to suck up to your feet so you could catch it in the air and put it down. Here's another example. This is me impossibling off of a curb. So you could see I come in, my heel is barely touching the board. You see that back heel? It is up in the air, it is not on the board at all. And now you point your toes and you start to pinch the board. Look what happens to my wheels. Can I get that frame? Yeah. One's like all the way pinched as if it was like a crooked grind or something. And then it lifts off of the ground and gets onto my foot. And it matches the transition of my foot, if you notice that. And so because of that, the pointing of my toe directs the angle of the board. And this is what allows it to move past my shin instead of going straight into it. And I'm pointing my toe. And then here, I am no longer pointing because the board is upside down. When it's upside down, I just lift my foot up. Oh, too fast. I lift my foot up into the air, and that allows me to catch it and put it down. Anyways, I'll show you these clips without me manipulating them. But I hope this gives you some good tips on what to do, on where to put your body weight, and how an impossible actually wraps.